today's video is about hiding critical password when you submit a shell script. I'm probably going to talk about why I'm going to talk this topic is anyone can use the same skills to do the work. The second is I try to introduce to you how I did it using Java, encrypt, decrypt. Finally, I give you some summary how to set it up. The first I talking about why I try to hide the critical password when setting up a shell script. If you are work with DBA or some DBA or OS team, right, operating system team, then you always need to do something which is a set up cron job to running. So for example, this is one example here. If I try to connect to database to check something like database up or down, I need to connect to a database with some user. But however, you have to pass this user password because we are setting the cron job. We're not doing it interactively, right? But the problem is if you hard-coded in the cron job your password, that sort of trouble, right? People can find it. Usually you connect to a database will have a DBA privilege user, or sometimes called sys or system. Those are very important users. They basically have the right can destroy you everything or get everything in database. But if you are not doing this way, another way people always do is say put the password in your file. Say like this. In your file, probably you have a connection to database, a username and the password, right? Or requires ID. Either way, the password for critical user is hard-coded somewhere. The people can find it. But however, the company, university, and college I'm working with, they always do it this way. No one cares about. But why I'm talking about today, right? It's one university that I'm working with. What they have the issue is, every 3 years, they are going to apply for funding. Organization provide funding or government provide funding. Before they do this, they ask for a third party to scan their server, try to see if there's any security hole there. One of these is password. If they find this password, they're going to report to the organization or government, and then they could lose their funding. So that's really serious. It's not only something just talking about it, right? That's money, a lot of money for the funding. So that's why really serious. They ask me, is there any way you can do with it? That's how I figured out. Okay, let me do this on the server side. It will be a little bit easier for you to understand why I'm doing it and how I do it. Let's see the script I have. Let me check which username I'm using. I'm using GT test. Let me change the password for GT test. I'm going to grant DBA to this user since we need to get some sys table. Okay, I have two scripts. One is
you can see this one is a hard-coded password. So let me test it to see it works. Connection string test 1. It's working. Then check database is open. Next one, another one is to, let me check what is inside. So this one's different. We are passed the password to script. Okay, here's how we run it. Test 1 and password. So it's working now. Both are working now. Next, I will check the script I have for Java. Because this one is both, right? Testing script we're testing, it is working. And the second one, when you run it in interactive model, it's okay, right? You're running it, but when you put this one in cron job, you got some trouble. You see here, the password is in cron job. So either way, to script, when you run it, you got trouble. Password is easy to get. Let's see the Java program. This one have two procedure, one's encrypt, another one's decrypt. So what I'm using is I hard-coded password in this file, first Java file, and then code encrypt. Let me do it. Compile it. Now we got class file. Let me run it. I will show you what it is. So the output is the first one, plain. That is the password, original one. The second line will be the encrypted password. And then the third one is from this encrypted password, we can test when we do the decrypt. We test it is got the same password, right, from the encrypt. And then the decrypted password, you see, is the same as original password because we're using the key, encryption key. So let's see. We pull this file for encryption, hard-coded in this submit shell file. Okay. Now we can compile this file. We need to compile this file. It's supposed to do the right thing because we already test the decrypted password is right. And then, so the things we'll do with this is a script internally. The decrypted password are passed to this jsekdb.sh file, testing file, right? So let's first want to compile this Java file. Now we're getting class file. We're running this way, submit shell, and the for path to the testing script jchkdb.sh. The follow this one for test 1 connection string. That's it, without a password. Okay, running it to see it works or not, because in submit the shell supposed to decrypt the password provide to the testing script. It should work this way. when I run it, it's working. Now pretty much you know what I did, right? But how I put in the script, let me quickly talk about it. If you are a really good Java programmer, you can make it much better than me, because I was to Java for long times ago. So quickly look into the file we have here. First one is AES.java. This file will have two procedures: encrypt, decrypt. The encrypt script is the one we're using in this file. We actually do not care about decrypt. So what we did is we paste this password, original password here. And then there's an encryption key. That key, you can use any key, doesn't matter. I was just for the, the demo purpose, make it very easy. 0 to 9, 8 to F. It's total 16 digit. For some reason, it's this program. If you use the encryption key, it's a 16 digit, and your password will be the 16 digit. This encryption key is used for both encrypt and decrypt. That guarantee you got original password when you decrypt it. So encrypt will pass us the password first, and then the second is encryption key. You already see the result print out, right? We print out the original one of the encryption, the password, and also decrypt, which is using, to using the same encryption key. So got exactly. This is the first file. The second file is the submit shell. Let's see it. This files also have two procedures putting. Actually, we just use one decrypt. We do not use encrypt in this file. The similar things I did is hard-coded this encrypt password, this long line there. The first things, we are putting the string called a byte password. It's a very long line. So, and then we use this one as an input for decrypt procedure. So the next one we're going to do is to decrypt the password. To do the decrypt password, basically we're calling a decrypt procedure, pass this encrypt password, also same encrypt key. The key has to be same. If you're using different key, then you got trouble. So this is the one. The second part is to, you have a lot of code, but it doesn't matter. The key is coding the decrypt, right format. There's some to print out. I'm going to testing to see if it works or not. It's actually not important. You got the idea, right? The first one, the decrypt password. When you got decrypt password, the next part we are going to do is using this password is saving this string called decrypt password to build the whole Linux shell command. This command, you already see it. Actually, is it's just using something, right? That Java submit the shell and your script name connects a string. So my JavaScript is going to build this, the whole command here. That's JavaScript does, but without its password. Okay, so this is a command that we're going to build. So when we build this one, it put in parameter code sb.toString. So we're using this one, submit to process. There's two ways you can do this to submit a shell script, and then we're using code running time. R is the one instance for running time, and we pass this whole command. This is whole command here. We pass to the script, and then it's submit by the running time.exec procedure. Then everything you already see it. It's two things. Now everything we already tested, it is working now, right? And we do not need the other files. Everything related to aes.class.java, we don't need anymore. So also any Java file, we can remove it. Also this file is included the password there, we can remove it. So when you remove the file is not there anymore. Suppose everything's clean. So let's remove it. Java file, Java source file, also file with password. By now it should be okay. AES.class file and another submit class file. Both files are binary. So those binary files actually is, someone have skill can break it, but we can remove the AES.class file because that one including the original password. But for submit shell.class do not have anything. If someone have skill can check binary file, well, it's pretty hard. Someone can do it. Let's try it to see what happens. If you can't file, you cannot see anything, right?
Okay, by now you already know what I'm doing, right? And then I probably give a summary how I set up the whole things. Because I were doing it, you probably a little bit confused what is step for it. So generally it's a tool script, right? Let me give you the summary about it. The script's too long. I don't want to go through all of them scripts one by one, just to give you a summary about it. Here is generally for this, how I achieve this goal. Yeah. First, I have a JavaScript, and then I compile this JavaScript. This script is used to encrypt password. So when you compile, you got class file. So you can run in this class file. When you're running class file, you got encrypted password. So this password is going to hard code it in this JavaScript. And then this JavaScript, I compile it again. When I compiled, I got this class file. I'm running this class file. This class file inside, they decrypt the password and then pass the password to this script here we're using. Here's how it works. If in cron job, you can do same things, similar like this, but you got to use the full pass for it, because if you're not, cron job will not know where you are. Say, the whole thing is set up when you already have encrypted password to use, then you can delete all the files, source files. For Java, this class file don't need anymore. So, and also your originally hard-coded script.